Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring in our bottom right hand side none other than Barcode. You've heard about him, now experience him. He is our blue Terran. He's probably got 13 different accounts because he plays every single race, all of them with the name of Barcode. I'm aware that this is probably not the same person as every Barcode you've ever seen. It's okay, but Forsaken you've probably heard of. ForsakeNXE is our Masters level Terran on the EU server. Last time I saw him streaming, because this guy streams all the time, he was on the Diamond League, and he was like at rank 8 Diamond or something like that when he started streaming. Then when he finished, he was like rank 1 or 2, and I knew that he was going to be bumping up to the Masters League, but I don't remember if that was directly before the region, not the region lock, the season lock, or if it was right after. I don't know. Not important. You know what is important is Cactus Valley LE, which is our map, characterized by the Xel'Naga Tower in the very, very center of this just worthless, wide open area. You don't see a lot of action taking place here unless you have those cross spawns, diagonal cross spawns. Otherwise, you see a lot of action down by these destructible rocks, or more importantly down here, whenever the opponent is kind of forced to take that fourth towards his other opponent. It plays out north and south, plays out east and west. Unfortunately, Barcode is kind of the one in the hard position, just because he's going to be taking that aggressive natural position, just because it's wide open. It's not easy to wall off this area, and then even when you do, you kind of have to push yourself forward, take these thirds. This is very much the Legacy of the Void mindset, where these thirds are mega open, however very, very easy to defend, relatively. I mean, you think about the other thirds that are on some of these maps, they're not always this close, especially this close by air. I mean, it's such a small little hop and a skip into your opponent's third. And I like it. I kind of like this map. I don't know. I feel like this whole area is kind of a waste of space, but more of that to come. We can see that Forsaken's throwing down his own gas. Barcode having finished his gas well before the barracks is done. Maybe we're going to be seeing a Reaper come out, but the gas timing for that is just so aggressive. I'd be more likely to see a factory coming out. Maybe this is going to be a 1-1-1. Yeah, there goes the factory. Keep an eye out for a starport coming immediately after this. This looks like a Banshee opening, but you don't really know until you see what sort of add-ons go down from the barracks, or if he's going to wait, not throw down an add-on on the barracks, throw it on like a tech lab on top of the factory, and then we can see exactly what Barcode's going to be doing. We don't see any add-ons coming up from the barracks. We do see the get done for Forsaken, and in fact his gas timing is pretty much exactly 100 gas behind Barcode, so that actually shows you that Barcode knows exactly what he's doing. He's grabbing that gas geyser, which tells me 100% that we're going to be seeing a starport with a Banshee opening from him. A very, very nice opening, especially with the buff there. They're going to be getting Legacy of the Void. It's nice to see them being incorporated into this, and it transitions so easily. That 1-1-1 build, yeah, there goes the starport. That 1-1-1 build just opens up so many different doors. You have that Banshee come in, forces a reaction from a player like Forsaken, and then immediately thereafter you have the possibility for anything you want. You can build mines from the factory and then immediately do a drop from the starport. You already have a tech lab on the starport, so you can get a Raven. You can play for that air superiority with that Raven. A point defense drone goes a long way of winning any air battle between those Vikings. And then you can immediately transition to either mech or bio, both of which are going to benefit greatly from hopefully the economic superiority that you've benefited from the Banshees, or I mean, you can fall back on that tech that you kind of grabbed early. See a factory coming out for. I don't feel like he's going to be doing a starport timing. It's going to be significantly delayed without that second geyser already being tapped. It's more likely. Oh, and there goes the cloak. So that is definitely going to be aggressive from the Barcode player. I have to do a lot of damage in order to justify this extra expenditure. Really nice clutch scan from Forsaken. Just going to be seeing absolutely everything. It's going to be interesting to see if Barcode decides to cancel that cloak. We'll have to keep an eye out on that on the production tab. Widowmine coming out from the factory. What's being built at this factory? Oh, he's going to be going over to the reactor. I've seen this. Like I mentioned, I've seen Forsaken stream a lot, and what he likes to do is produce a couple of Hellions and then just kind of do a I don't know, it's not super aggressive, but he uses about 8 Marines with a handful of Hellions. It's usually just 2, maybe, to push out and just kind of deny that natural expansion. A Widowmine pushing out at the same time as the Banshee. Did he cancel that cloak? He did not. I mean, he has a second, no, a Raven on the production tab right now. It's very interesting to see him go immediately into that Raven. Sometimes you see people double down or even triple down on those Banshees. They're so useful later on whenever the tank battle kind of comes into play. With the scan, Forsaken knows exactly what he's up against. He's getting 2 missile turrets being built just in the nick of time. Cloak's going to be finishing in just a couple of seconds. We can see, yeah, 5 seconds for that. Finding the sweet spot, Banshee's going to be able to throw down and lock down a handful of the mineral patches on the south side, but with some good unit control, Forsaken's going to be able to keep them in check. It looks like, oh no, the Widow Mine, it must have gone down. The Widow Mine must have been trying to walk over to the third, or maybe the natural, but without any support there, it looks like it got picked up by one of these units. These Hellions are probably more than enough to keep these Marines in check. However, those Marines will be able to fall back to the auto turret, so a bit of a standstill, a bit in the benefit of Forsaken, just because he's going to be able to lock down that command center time being. At the same time, the Banshee's going to town on that supply depot, but really not going to be doing any economic damage, so this is far more important. Only 100 hit points left for that command center. Oh no, Forsaken forced to actually engage. It would have been awesome for him to actually buckle down on that command center. I bet he could have sacrificed all of his units to get either or the kill on that CC. I'm not 100% convinced that it's the right decision to let them all die, but it would have been cool because it would have been a significant economic edge for him to actually kill that CC. But with a cancel, it's a bit of a gray area. Do you want to fix your entire standing army just for a minor setback to the CC build time? I mean, here we are with 600 hit points. It's very weak. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure he made the right decision. Who am I to second guess? That Banshee still floating around being obnoxious. We can see another Banshee's out on the field also for barcode, but with 3 Vikings already been produced by Forsaken, he's going to be able to scan directly underneath this Banshee. Does he have enough energy? Yeah, he's got enough energy. There goes the scan. Oh no, that Banshee just barely doesn't make it out. I thought it was going to get taken down. It looked like it had passed beyond the veil of the scan. However, the Viking had already loosed its rockets, so yeah, a little unlucky there for our barcode player. Tech Lab just kind of sitting fancy free for these barracks. Probably going to be transitioning over to a bio style. Probably going to get stem coming out from that Tech Lab. Do we have +1 already starting on that engineering bay? No second engineering bay. No armor being produced right now. Far more important for you to focus down the siege tanks whenever you're on top of them, rather than to take a couple of the damage. And again, combat shield kind of buffs up your Marines anyway, so definitely the priority should be that +1 weapons. We do see that air superiority that I was talking about from our barcode player. I mean, he's got 4 Vikings to the 3, I'm thinking. Yeah, 3 from Forsaken, so he definitely has air superiority locked down, especially when considering that he's got that Raven there to throw down that point defense drone, massive in those air versus air battles. And then he has those Banshees. I think he had 2 still out in the field, right? No, I guess he lost 1. But still, that 1 Banshee's going to be able to pick off those siege tanks if those Vikings succeed in taking over the skies completely. However, we do have that starport right nearby. What is it producing? 2 medevacs right now, so an unfortunate timing for Forsaken. He's in a bit of trouble right now. There goes that point defense drone I was talking about, and one of the Vikings immediately falls with the other 3 in pristine health. 4 now for the barcode player. That Banshee going to town on the siege tanks, but it looks like some quick reflexes from Forsaken. It's going to keep it alive with those SCVs. A really nice play, very fortunate. Oh, I forgot, man. The point defense drone only lasts 20 seconds now, not very long at all. And in fact, those SCVs are not long for the world, because we can see that Forsaken is pushing forward, managing to take everything out on the ground. But even with just the Banshee surviving, he is going to be able to pick off every single one of those Marines. Ultimately, kind of a wash, but Forsaken does succeed in breaking the contain, and in fact, keeping a handful of his siege tanks alive. You can replace your Marines a dime a dozen, but those, and especially those medevacs, become very important as the game progresses. Siege tanks particularly so. You have a nice siege tank line against an opponent who doesn't have one, you can set up contains. However, that Banshee once again going to town on that siege tanks, not succeeding in taking it out. We can see that 2 of them are in the deep red right now, which is a really good play. I first keep them alive. Again, though, having to sacrifice his SCVs, and we can see that that harvester count is beginning to take a massive hit. 48 over 41 right now. This is it's not looking bad for Forsaken. I mean, he does have his expansion up. He's been mining from that expansion significantly longer than our barcode player. He has his tech, his +1 and stim is totally done right now. He has succeeded in rebuffing his barcode, and so, I don't know. His siege tank count is significantly higher. even his Marine count is practically even though he's got the tech superiority. So whenever Forsaken decides to move out, he's going to be more impressive on the ground than Barcode, especially with his upgrades being so widely ahead of his opponent. I mean, look at that. He's over 100 seconds, almost 100 seconds stim for the Barcode player, and it's already done for Forsaken. Really, the thing that's holding him back are his medevacs. He had 2 on the production tab. Where are they? Did he lose them? I assume he lost them to those 4 Vikings during that combat. Regardless, he's only got 1 out on the field right now. He needs another one. Where did that come from? A Raven over here on the north side, just throwing a little autocannon, just doing a little bit of harassment, keeping Forsaken contained, because again, this is the window that Forsaken has. He's got this nice timing. He's got that +1, he's got that stim done, but here we are. Barcode has bought 50 seconds and has managed to sneak out his own stim pack, and I believe his +1 is also done. Yep, it definitely is. And so now they're going to be even for another 60 seconds or so. So Forsaken is going to be moving out, but lost that advantage that he had with that tech advantage, and with only a single medevac left to keep these guys, buffed up, he's not really going to be able to utilize his stim to the best of his example. Here comes the cavalry, 2 more medevacs moving in, and it looks like to the south Barcode goes and to the north Forsaken goes. He's going to be swinging over and going to be succeeding in taking down that third, but we don't even see a third being built from Forsaken, so this is one necessary. This isn't a score for Forsaken, this is an equalizer. Okay, so he's denied that third, forcing a pullback by Barcode. If Barcode had decided to move in, he would have done some significant damage. Orbital command being lifted off just to avoid any economic damage, not so much as to, it's not that he's forced out of it. I mean, he could definitely divert some forces to take care of that autocannon, but it's more important for him to keep his remaining SCVs alive. Do a lift up of the siege tanks. Siege tank on the low ground does go down, but that buys enough time for his 3 siege tanks to get buffed up on the high ground, equalizing that harvester count in one fell swoop. However, it looks like Forsaken's entire tank force and ground army is going to go down. Will he succeed in keeping any of his medevacs alive? One of them does go down. The other one manages to pick up a handful of units, even escaping with a single marauder that moved his way in, but now has a massive ground army. And Forsaken, actually, his supply is not that bad. He's got a lot of Marines back at home, staying on top of his macro, but didn't rally any of his forces over there, just left with what he had, kept the rest of them back at home. So the supply count is actually neck and neck, and upgrade wise is pretty much even. Everybody's got everything except for Cloak being over for the Barcode player, and if I remember right, that starport did go down. Yeah, it did. Here he is making the starport. I'm going to be on a reactor, so we won't see any more Banshees, not even any more Ravens in the near future. Command center now shyly being built up on the high ground. Barcode learned his lesson not to throw it down on the low ground, and in fact a Marine as a welcoming gift left back there. Do we have a CC on the production tab for Forsaken? No, we don't. Has it already been constructed? No, it's not. Wow, Forsaken's gonna have to be very, very aggressive in order to, remain competitive in this game. To do some economic damage. His natural, actually, his main's not even looking close to be mined out. 200 on these, 160. Okay, so he's probably got another 3 minutes there before his income begins to wane. So it's probably time for him to throw down a CC, but at the same time, he's trying to be aggressive. So as long as he justifies the fact that he's not expanding, that he's not remaining competitive and economically, then it's fine. He's just being forced into an aggressive posture. And at the same time, Barcode is responding, trying to be aggressive too. He's got 3 siege tanks out on the ground right now. Forsaken's got 4, so not a significant difference. 10 medevacs being made right now for Forsaken, not being made out on the field right now. 4 of them right there. Where are the other ones? Back at home. We can see Forsaken's probably expecting some sort of a drop play just with his siege tanks up on the high ground. I hope I didn't miss a drop. I don't believe I did. I definitely didn't see it. There goes the third being constructed right in time. Forsaken being pulled back. I would have loved to see that third being thrown down at the same time Forsaken was pushing out that first time, because now that CC would have been done. Whereas we can see that the orbital command is done for Barcode. He's going to be lifting off, moving it down here. For the first time, Barcode's going to be taking a significant economic edge. I mean, obviously he had the edge whenever he took down those SCVs, but with the third being, already being mined by Forsaken, I feel like that was more of an equalizing. A little bit of a dance here. Neither player going to be able to drop, and it looks like both drops kind of pass each other. Forsaken dropping down his Marines in the mineral line, going for the stem. It looks like some Marines already in the area, so this is probably going to be a cleaned up pretty quickly. A little bit of economic damage. Wow, a lot of economic damage. 23 over 51. Those SCVs, oh, he sent those SCVs in to die. He sent them into attack rather than to retreat, while the Marines actually cleaned them up. One medevac goes down from Barcode, almost full of units, but however 3 siege tanks are thrown down to the right side of Forsaken's base, and these Marines are going to be having a very hard time actually cleaning them up. Pushing forward, it looks like this is a pretty significant blow to Forsaken's standing army, however not a very big blow to the harvester count. So yeah, that third has been completed right now. It's not an orbital command yet, and even though there's a significant difference in harvesters, not a significant difference. In fact, the income is actually favoring Barcode because he has that third. He's thrown down those mules there, so he's actually having a larger mineral income, even though he's got almost half the harvesters from Forsaken. That's pretty impressive. That's the power of Terran right there. Submarines pushing in. Something we're missing right now is Widow Mines, but the presence of siege tanks definitely makes that up. Very aggressive. Forsaken's pushing forward with his siege tanks, going to be able to throw down just a hail of siege tank fire, but the Marines, there's not enough Marines here to siege tanks, so we can see them getting cleaned up very, very quickly. Forsaken realizes this, coming in with his stem from those Marines, manages to clean them up, but that was an unnecessary blow to his siege tank numbers. He had about twice as many as he currently has, and they were lost because he was too aggressive pushing forward with those siege tanks. He was being aggressive in order to defend his third, and ultimately he succeeded in defending that third. However, he was so aggressive that it cost him, and in reality, if that third even went down, he could have repositioned his orbital command. So a bit of a costly blow, but ultimately necessary. Barcode's looking pretty rough. I mean, 85 over 120 right now. Even with that third being constructed, he lost a lot of his infrastructure to that initial drop from Forsaken, and he hasn't really recovered. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is the equalizer. A little bit of a drop here, taking down some reactors, taking down some tech labs. Not a lot back at home in order to clean up that drop. Not a lot back at home because Forsaken's doing a drop of himself. Forcing a lift off, and the orbital command being shot off to the north side is definitely going to get cleaned up. However, this drop has not been cleaned up yet. There goes the stem. The Marines finally arriving. Is there an upgrade advantage for either player? +2 for Forsaken right now in the weapons, definitely giving him a massive boon. Oh no, planetary fortress done. The medevacs, nope, right out of there. They fly right over it, and they're like, no, we can't take that down. Speaking of being taken down, that orbital command was cleaned up from that third, so Forsaken not only has the economic edge, but has an economic lockdown on his opponent. 3-6 harvesters at the same time, with that third being completely locked down, and then main completely mined out. Barcode's economy's in a little bit of a rough shape. Speaking of rough shape, the natural's almost completely gone for Forsaken, main almost completely gone for him. So both players are pretty much only on one base, whereas the natural for Barcode and the main and the third for Forsaken. A massive doom drop going off on the high ground for Barcode's base. Forsaken brought the army in there. Really good play here from Barcode, lifting off all of his units in order to push in with his Marines, not even bothering to siege up his siege tanks. He knows he needs to get in on top of those siege tanks. He did succeed in cleaning them up completely, but there's just not an economy left in order to allow Barcode to resupply. He needs to land all these buildings and get them producing again, but I mean, look, he's got no bank, he's got no money, he's got no way in order to remax, and with all of these medevacs flying back home, those medevacs eat up a lot of supplies. 16 medevacs worth of supply, but with 50 Marines back at home, even with just one siege tanks, this is more than enough for Forsaken to nail just one more nail into the coffin. I think that Forsaken's going to be able to take this in just one more push, and I think Barcode agrees with me. He's moving out with his medevacs. He knows he did a lot of damage last time, but with the siege tank already sieged up on the high ground, and the Marines, oh no, the Marines actually moved out, so this might actually do a lot of damage. We will see. Marines moving down on the low ground, supported by a plethora of medevacs, probably going to be lifting off and then bringing in a small contingency of that force as the medevacs kind of boost in here. Going to be landing directly on top of the siege tanks, even sacrificing the unloaded medevacs forward to draw the fire from the medevacs. and Barcode taps out, not even with a GG. But I would actually say this was a really, really good game. I'm gonna admit that I did not believe that Forsaken won this. I looked through when I was looking up to see if he was in Masters. I looked through his ladder wins, and I saw that the last game on Cactus Valley LE he played against a Terran, he lost. So I was fully expecting him to have lost this game, and I am very pleased that he survived and actually won this. And so, you know, whenever he was pushing out and he wasn't taking the third, I was like, oh no, he's in so much trouble. What's gonna happen? And what was gonna happen was that he was gonna win, and that was pretty cool. You know what else is a win? People watching my videos. So thank you for that. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Big and Scary. Bye.